What's going on, Sports Wars? This is Ryan with the RK Outpost and GeeksGamers.com, and The Last Dance broke every record imaginable when it comes to ESPN documentaries, when it comes to sports documentaries on Netflix. It broke records across the board. One person who was not very happy about this was Scottie Pippen. Now, The Last Dance, if you didn't watch it, it was a 10-part series that told the story of the 97-98 Bulls team, focusing heavily, obviously, on the greatest player of all time, Michael Jordan. One person who did not come off looking that great was Scottie Pippen, and Scottie is not happy about it. He's fighting back with a tell-all book that is supposedly throwing a lot of shade at Michael Jordan. Take a look at the headline. Scottie Pippen cringed at being called Jordan's sidekick. I was the real leader. We're going to get into some of these things that Scottie Pippen said. Scottie Pippen just announced he's dropping a new book, and it seems like there's some shade being thrown at Michael Jordan. Remember, Pippen said he was not too pleased at the way he was portrayed in MJ's acclaimed docuseries, The Last Dance, and was so upset he addressed the issue with Jordan directly. I don't think it was accurate in terms of really defining what was accomplished in one of the greatest eras of basketball, but also by two of the greatest players. And one could even put that aside and say the greatest team of all time, Pippen told The Guardian. I actually thought it did a really good job of putting the focus not just on Jordan, of having entire episodes, focused on Scottie Pippen, an entire episode focused on Dennis Rodman, and doing all these things and showing all these cast of characters, an entire episode focused on Phil Jackson. I think it actually did a really good job of that. I just think that Scottie's a little bit upset because of the reception towards some of these things that happened, including when he quit on his team and how they reacted. I don't think he liked that very much. Fast forward to Wednesday, Pippen revealed he's dropping an unflinching memoir called Unguarded, reflecting on his life, including his time with the Bulls, and the official summary on the Simon & Schuster website is teasing some serious tea. Here it is, Unguarded, Scottie Pippen, a raw, unvarnished look at the life of six-time NBA champ Scottie Pippen and his role on one of the greatest teams of all time. And here's some quotes. First, Pippen claims there's no Michael Jordan as we know him without him, adding the 90 Chicago Bulls team would not exist as we know them. Next, this is great. Pippen details how he cringed at being labeled Jordan's sidekick and discussed how he could have and should have received more respect from Bulls management and the media. Let's just be honest, that's the truth. You were the number 2 on this team. You were the number 2 on the greatest team of all time, to the greatest player of all time. That's nothing really to be ashamed about. That's just the truth. As far as if you should have received more respect, especially more money, I'll be honest, I do think that that's a valid criticism of the Bulls management. Scottie Pippen should have been paid far more than he was getting paid. But as far as him being the sidekick, that's just the way it was. Sorry to say, Scottie. Interesting. But then a more direct shot criticizing MJ's leadership. Pippen discusses what it was like dealing with Jordan on a day-to-day basis while serving as the real leader within the Bulls locker room. Interesting, isn't it? So he's saying that Scottie was the real leader. Michael Jordan was just a guy. Having to deal with Michael Jordan while I was the real leader. I don't think that most people on the team see it that way, Scottie. I think a lot of people saw what you did when Jordan wasn't there, how you gave up on the team because you didn't get to take the last shot. I think a lot of people saw that, and a lot of people lost a lot of respect for you, regardless of what kind of leadership position you were taking at the time. Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. It can't be easy as Scottie living in his shadow, basically his entire prime of his career. But that's the way it was. A lot of people, Scottie, think you're one of the 50 greatest players of all time. I personally don't. I think you've actually received a bump because of all this time that you've spent kind of side by side with Michael Jordan. But that's just my thoughts. It'll be interesting to see what happens, how much shade he actually throws at MJ, and if MJ thinks he needs to respond. Let me know your thoughts about all this in the comments below. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.